And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at the Sentinel's Tactics Uprising. This is the first expansion for Sentinel's Tactics. It actually came out, I think, at the same time. And we're also going to take a look at the plastic miniatures that you can get for Sentinel Tactics. So, is it worth it getting the whole package? Sentinel's Tactics is a pretty cool game. Check out my review for more information on that. Is it worth getting the plastic miniatures? Is it worth grabbing this? Let's take a look. So let's take a look at the figures first and the different bases here. When you take a closer look at these guys here, the figures come in this white plastic and molding that I've actually only ever seen Greater Than Games use. You can see here, for example, on Absolute Zero, which is one of my favorite characters, it's pretty detailed and looks really good, but they're really hard to tell apart. Now, some of them are easier to tell than others. Here's Legacy, and that's actually a really good pose for him. And they're really easy to see, just a different... it would look much better painted. Some of them, like Bunker here, are easier to see than others, and Bunker is one of my favorite models and one of my favorite characters in the game. And others, you know, of course we have the Omnitron here, and they fit on these plastic bases. If you'll notice, I hold Bunker upside down. He isn't falling off, but they don't necessarily stay on these bases. I might have to glue them on, because the names for each one are written on the base, but it's not that easy to see. And you have to, okay, so first you're like, okay, where's my character, where's my character? Okay, here's the character I'm using. Okay, let's find his base, let's find his base. And once you find their base and put them on, that can take up a bit of time. And again, I like the miniatures a lot, but this whiteness here, it's like, must paint me. I'm not much of a painter either, but maybe I'll have to. This expansion also adds some new heroes. Yay, for Unity and for Beacon and for the Visionary. And my daughter was glad to see that they added in a bunch of girl heroes and then even girl villains with the Operative and the Proletariat, which is one of my coolest, I think, bad guy names there is, and Ambuscade. And also another book here with some more comics in it and a bunch more scenarios. There are there's 4 scenarios in this one, and with a bunch of new different special effects and things that you can use, and a new companion type thing. The new characters are pretty cool. In particular, Beacon, who I think is the main character, is essentially Supergirl. You can see that she has some pretty, normal stuff, but she has some really cool attacks. One that can hit 2 people, one that can hit everybody in a straight line, which is really neat, ignoring that, or just a really powerful head-on collision attack. Or, I think this is even more powerful, the Focus Blast. I like this one because if she rolls dice that is higher than the range of the target away, you get rid of that and change them in for 2 dice each. And then Piercing Eye Beams, where all her attacks go through line of sight, or just a really good defensive card. On the bad guy side, let's see, I like Proletariat. Proletariat is a very interesting character because all the Brutaliates in play count as Proletariat. They all share one set of actions: defense, movement, and health. What does that mean? Well, on your turn, you can put an extra guy out. So he's basically an evil multiple man. And he has different things that he can then do with his special powers. And so this expansion essentially adds some more bad guys, some more good guys, and a few more extra cards other than that, and some more scenarios. I know that's not a ton of detail on this expansion, but just kind of seeing the characters, it's interesting to see some of the characters come that we've now seen in the Sentinels of the Multiverse game come into play. And like I said, my daughter was very pleased with this one. It had a very female bent to it, which is something that she likes, and I'm glad to see in superhero games. Other than that, there's nothing like groundbreaking here. It's just more stuff. More scenarios, more heroes, more villains. And since I prefer to play this game with like 2-on-2 matches, and again, where the villains, in these games, the villains aren't that much more powerful than the heroes. It's the scenarios that up their power tremendously. So here you can use them and have these really cool matchups. The plastic figures, that's another thing. I don't know. Man, I love plastic miniatures, but I don't know that I would buy these to replace my counters when the counters are actually easier to see than the miniatures, unless, of course, you paint the miniatures. So I'll put that caveat in. If you're going to paint them, the miniatures are fantastic, very cool-looking models. Put them in there, and your game will have the superhero flair, which I will envy. But if you're not a painter, I think you should pass on these because I think they're a little bit difficult to differentiate when on the board, and they lose a bit. They have some really cool detail, but they lose a bit of that as unpainted. Maybe if you just dry brush them or something, that might give a little bit more flavor to them. Anyhow, so are they necessary? No. But if you like the game and you want more things, then check them out. Dice Tower Judgment, if you love the original game, approved.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Κλείσε την πόρτα.